Learn English with your Instill.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to talk about something really close to my heart, speaking in English. I made a promise to myself that I would always speak in English, even when I make mistakes. And let me tell you, I make them all the time. But you know what? That's okay. And here's why. Learning a new language can be intimidating, right? It's easy to feel like you need to be perfect or worry that others might judge you if you slip up. But I've learned that the only way to truly improve is to keep speaking, even when it's not perfect. In this video, I'm going to tell you why I made this choice, what challenges I faced along the way, and how pushing through my fear of making mistakes has changed not just how I speak English, but how I see myself. If you're someone who's been afraid to practice speaking, or who feels embarrassed when you don't say things perfectly, I want you to know that you're not alone. I've been there too, but I'm here to show you how speaking English, mistakes and all, can help you grow more confident, connect with people, and open doors you never imagined possible. So, grab a seat, get comfortable, and let's dive into why I choose to speak in English every single day and why you should too. The process of communicating in English, regardless of how imperfect it might be, is a significant step toward growing and developing my language skills. I understand that learning any language is a journey filled with ups and downs, where mistakes are not just common but essential to progress. Every time I make a mistake, whether it's mispronouncing a word, mixing up tenses, or using the wrong vocabulary, I see it as an opportunity to learn and improve. This mindset helps me push through moments of frustration and keep going, knowing that each conversation, no matter how flawed, brings me closer to fluency. Speaking in English, even when I'm not entirely confident or polished, is a way for me to immerse myself in the language and push past the fear of making errors. The more I use English in daily life, the more I become accustomed to its rhythm, sounds, and expressions. It's not just about practicing speaking for the sake of speaking. It's about building a habit and a comfort level that eventually leads to better proficiency. I've come to realize that people around me often appreciate the effort, even when there are mistakes. Most of them are supportive and understanding, which helps reinforce my confidence to keep trying. Moreover, by using English regularly, I develop a resilience that helps me face challenges in communication more easily. It teaches me not to be overly critical of myself and to accept imperfections as part of the learning process. Mistakes are the building blocks of language acquisition. They're moments where I gain insight into areas that need more practice. Sometimes, I notice that making a mistake can lead to a teachable moment where I learn the correct structure or word usage from someone else or figure it out for myself through trial and error. The more I push myself to speak in English, despite occasional awkward phrasing or slips of the tongue, the more I can see tangible progress over time. I've found that speaking, even with mistakes, is more valuable than not speaking at all. The barriers I set for myself by not trying to speak English out of fear of mistakes only hold me back from growing. Embracing English, mistakes and all, is my way of showing commitment to self-improvement and dedication to mastering a skill that opens up countless opportunities, from better career prospects to a deeper understanding of different cultures and perspectives. So, even when my English isn't perfect, I choose to speak it. Because in those moments of imperfection, there's growth. And that's what really matters. Speaking in English, despite making mistakes, is a decision that has taught me so much about perseverance and the importance of stepping out of my comfort zone. It's not always easy to maintain the courage to speak when I know my pronunciation isn't perfect or when I struggle to find the right words. But I've learned that real progress lies in challenging myself and embracing the process. Every conversation, whether it's with friends, colleagues, or even strangers, builds my confidence and teaches me how to express my thoughts in new and more effective ways. Sometimes it's frustrating when I can't say exactly what I mean, or when someone has to repeat themselves or explain a point to me, but each of these moments is a learning experience. They show me what I need to practice more and help me understand how to communicate better the next time. One of the most valuable lessons I've learned from speaking in English with mistakes is that communication is not just about being perfect. It's about being understood. I've realized that people are generally more forgiving than I expected, and they value the effort to engage in conversation, even when there are errors. This has motivated me to keep speaking, even when I feel self-conscious or unsure. Over time, I've also become more comfortable with the idea that making mistakes isn't a reflection of my intelligence or potential. It's simply a part of learning. I've come to see mistakes as stepping stones to mastery rather than obstacles to be avoided. Another benefit of speaking English, even with my mistakes, is that it has made me more adaptable. I've learned to think on my feet, come up with alternatives when I don't know the right word, and use context and gestures to convey my message. This has not only improved my language skills, but also taught me how to handle uncertainty and think critically. When I make a mistake, I don't dwell on it for too long. Instead, I acknowledge it, correct it if possible, and move on. This approach has helped me become more resilient and less afraid of failure in other areas of my life as well. I've discovered that perfectionism can be paralyzing, while embracing imperfection opens the door to growth and progress. Speaking English every day has also made me more open to new opportunities. I've become more willing to participate in discussions, engage with people from different backgrounds, and share my thoughts without the constant fear of judgment. I have learned that fluency is not an all-or-nothing goal. It's a gradual process that requires practice, patience, and the willingness to push past moments of discomfort. Every conversation, even when it involves mistakes, adds to my learning experience and makes me more adept at navigating the language. Over time, I've come to enjoy the process of learning English and find joy in communicating through it, even if it's not always perfect. The more I practice, the more natural it becomes, and even if I make mistakes, I know that I am moving forward. Each day I choose to speak English, even with its imperfections, is a reminder that language is not just a tool, but a bridge that connects people. And as long as I'm willing to speak, make mistakes, learn, and improve, I know I'm headed in the right direction. Continuing to speak in English, even with mistakes, has allowed me to build a deeper understanding of the language and its nuances. I've realized that it's not just the vocabulary or grammar that matters, but also the way language connects people. By speaking in English, I've been able to share my thoughts, feelings, and experiences with people from all over the world, creating connections I might not have had otherwise. And while my English may not be flawless, my determination and willingness to engage in conversation speak volumes. I've discovered that genuine communication often transcends linguistic perfection, and that people are more interested in what I'm saying than in whether I'm saying it perfectly. Over time, I've learned to embrace the moments when I stumble over my words or have trouble with pronunciation. I've come to see these moments as a part of the learning curve rather than as setbacks. For example, when I'm speaking and I can't find the right word, I might pause and try to describe it in a different way, which can lead to surprising and insightful conversations. These experiences not only help me expand my vocabulary, but also teach me how to be more flexible and creative with my use of language. It has shown me that there are often multiple ways to express the same idea and that sometimes the simplest explanation is the most effective. Another powerful realization I've had is that learning English is not just an academic exercise, but a lifelong journey. The mistakes I make today might be the building blocks of the language skills I develop tomorrow. It's not just about reaching a point where I can speak perfectly. It's about enjoying the process and embracing the progress. Speaking English, even when I make mistakes, has shown me that there is no right way to learn. Some days I feel like I'm making huge strides, while other days it feels like I'm taking one step forward and two steps back. But in the grand scheme of things, those moments of struggle are where the real learning happens. They remind me that persistence and patience are crucial. The act of speaking English has also boosted my self-esteem in ways I didn't expect. It has shown me that my worth is not defined by how perfectly I speak, but by my willingness to engage and put myself out there. There are times when I have to laugh at myself when I use the wrong word or make a silly mistake, but I've learned to laugh along and move forward. This positive attitude has helped me to stay motivated and keep practicing, even when progress feels slow. The more I push myself to speak, the more I can see my confidence growing, not just in language, but in other areas of my life as well. I'm learning that courage doesn't come from never making mistakes. It comes from continuing to speak and learn despite them. In conversations where I'm speaking English, I've found that people tend to appreciate the effort and respect the attempt, regardless of how polished it may be. This has given me a new perspective on what it means to communicate effectively. It's not only about perfect grammar or pronunciation, but about building trust and understanding. It has taught me to focus more on conveying my ideas and listening actively to others rather than worrying excessively about making a mistake. I've realized that by engaging in conversations, even imperfectly, I become more attuned to the subtleties of the language, picking up on idioms, expressions, and cultural references that are essential to mastering English. Even when I'm nervous or unsure, speaking English has become a part of my daily routine. It's a habit that has helped me expand my comfort zone and develop my interpersonal skills. I've learned that mistakes are just part of the process of becoming fluent, and that the more I speak, the more fluent I become. The mistakes I make today will eventually become the stories I share about my learning journey, serving as reminders of how far I've come. Most importantly, I know that as long as I keep speaking, learning, and growing, I am on the right path, no matter how many mistakes I make along the way. It has become more than just a language choice for me. It is a part of my identity and a commitment to continuous improvement. Speaking in English, despite the errors I might make, has been a way to push myself out of my comfort zone and engage with others on a global scale. Of course, sometimes I feel a bit self-conscious when I stumble over words or use incorrect grammar, but I remind myself that making mistakes is an essential part of learning. No one starts speaking perfectly, and fluency comes through practice, perseverance, and a willingness to try even when I'm unsure. By speaking English regularly, I am strengthening my skills, expanding my vocabulary, and improving my ability to express thoughts and emotions more clearly. Each conversation, whether with friends, colleagues, or strangers, is a learning experience that builds my confidence and helps me refine my speech. Thank you so much for joining me in today's lesson. I hope you found it helpful and enjoyable. Remember, learning English is a journey, and every step you take brings you closer to fluency. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. They're just part of the learning process. Practice regularly, stay consistent, and keep believing in yourself. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more lessons. And feel free to leave a comment with your questions or share your progress. I love hearing from you. Keep practicing, keep growing, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay curious and keep speaking English.
Thanks for watching. Do like the video, share this to your friend, and don't forget to subscribe my channel.